Hi, welcome to another edition of Soul Talk with me, Wes Berwise. Today we have the privilege of meeting an artist who, from selling CDs from the boot of his car, went on to be signed by a major recording label and then went on to become Grammy nominated. We're talking about the singer, songwriter and musician, Dwele.
It used to be, we would be the best of all friends. It turned to be L-O-V-E, and I was your man.
Dwele, good to see you back in London, man.
Thank you.
Good to see that. When was the last time you were here?
Last year. Last year.
Yeah. What was the vibe like? How did it feel? Did they love you?
London is always good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Always enjoy
That's Jazz Cafe.
Jazz Cafe, yeah.
Okay. And this time around, where are you going to be?
Coco.
Done it before? Have you been there before?
Never done it. So
it's a really historic venue.
Okay.
I know I've got to educate some American people when they come here, but it's a really historic. It's been open since it was opened in 1900. Where
Wow.
anybody from the Rolling Stones to Grace Jones
has
appeared. Madonna has appeared there as well.
Oh.
So even though you might be thinking, oh, it's in Camden and it's not quite in the centre of, no, it's actually a really respected venue. So hopefully you're going to feel the vibe and feel the love when you're there.
Oh yeah.
That should be really cool.
I mean, I got to bring it.
Well, what? You mean you've got to bring it? You've got to bring it.
Yeah, I got to bring it. Okay.
Talk to me about what's happening right now with you. What's going on? I've been fortunate enough to hear your latest single, Drive the Future, which I think is fantastic.
Drive the Single is the latest installment. You know, when they approached me about, doing this initiative, I was eager to do it, because it's for a good cause.
What's the initiative about? Because there's going to be a lot of the viewers won't know exactly what the whole Drive the Future.
It's raising money, technology, science and technology in schools.
Okay.
I believe it's jackets for the homeless and a few other organizations.
Right.
Yeah.
And how did you get involved in that?
There's a company in Detroit that goes around and does this, that actually helps the organizations. And they approached me about making a song. They wanted to make a song, to kind of uplift the youth, and also work with the communities. And they said, we want something that's uplifting and we want something that's funky. And I'm like, how do you mix uplifting and funky, so it was kind of.
I've heard the single and it's really good. It's really good. And was it written specifically for this cause?
Yeah. I went through. I made about five different beats. Trying to mix uplifting and funky.
Right.
But I felt like I didn't quite get it until I got to that last one. The lyrics started flowing a little more smooth.
Drive the future, drive the future. My hero.
So here's a question I ask everybody, but which came first, the lyrics or the beats in this one?
In this case, the beat came first.
You thought, right, you found something, you settled on it, it felt nice.
Yeah.
So talk to me about your latest CD.
Yeah, the latest CD, Greater Than One. Feel good CD. It's a little something on there for everybody. I feel like this CD, for some reason, has more of an 80s feel to it, than my previous CDs. But I still try to keep those elements that make my music, my music. So I think it's a nice clash. I think it works.
And then we sort of look back, and part of you coming over right now is to sort of celebrate your sort of almost 10th anniversary of the Subject album.
Yeah.
Things have changed a little bit, haven't they?
A little bit.
A little bit. I mean, when you first were, with Slum Village and you worked with them.
I would never want nothing tainted. Wait a minute, what you feel? Fainted if your loving was tainted. True, I know true love's hard to find.
And now we're in 2014 and everything's changed.
Yeah.
The way you do your music, the way it's marketed.
Yeah.
The way it's sold.
Yeah. Everything is different, man. I think part of us as humans, we don't want anything to change, and then there's another part of us that embraces, change. And I think in this situation, I think change is good. I've been fortunate enough to see both sides of being in the industry from a major label standpoint and from an independent label standpoint, and there's a lot of change, between those two alone. I think being independent is better for me because I like to produce my own music, write my own music, and I like to, I know what I want to put out there, and I didn't necessarily completely get that, when I was with the major. Even
with the Subject album, because I thought the Subject album sounded very real.
The Subject album was me. It was me, and that's why I always double back and I say that, being a new artist, I got a lot of creative control.
Okay.
You know, compared to other artists, I did. But even still, there were a couple songs on the Subject album and on the Some Kinda album
Which
that
you wouldn't have put there if you had a choice.
Yeah, I would not have put there. You
It's
know,
that
but
painful
I mean,
to hear though, especially when you've been, you know, when you've learnt your craft.
Yeah.
When did you start playing? When you were 6 years old, 7 years old?
Yeah.
So
Around
you've
there.
learnt your craft. You've started writing.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're elated when you get offered the deal, and then someone says, "Well, why not put that one in?" And you're thinking, well,
this
hang
is
on.
you. You need to do this, right? Like that's not me. You know, they gonna tell me what me is. You know, but I mean, you know, hindsight, trading one song for 12, 13 songs is not bad. Yeah,
It's a good deal.
It's not bad at all. You know, so considering I had a sweet deal, you know, but you get to keep a lot more of your money.
The man was steady stacking chips, riding in the best of whips, living every day like it's birthday.
Do you ever listen to the album, or is it like that's history? That was then.
Yeah, I
this
don't
is
really
now,
listen.
I don't listen to the other stuff
it's like
anymore.
while I'm working on it, I listen to the album a lot. You know, over and over again in the car. You know, that's the only point in time that you can listen to your album and it's not vain that you're listening to your own music.
Well, only because
When
no one
you're-
else knows you're listening to it.
Yeah. It's like, you know, you can listen to it in your car, around the house, just to make sure that everything flows well and, you know, to kind of critique your own self, you know. So I think when I create an album, I listen to the music so much that once it's done, I'm good. I don't need to hear it anymore. I've heard it 10 million times already.
What kind of influences you? I know it's easy to say, okay, you know, you might. Is it something like you're walking along the street, you see something affects you, or is it a situation where, you know, someone says, "Why don't you write about this?" and you sit down and write, much like Drive the Future. How does it work when you actually write in your songs, or when the influences come?
I mean,
How
I
does it feel?
draw inspiration from everything. You know, it can happen at any point in time. You know, I've woken up out of sleep, you know, with the song, like, like run into the studio, let me do that. And then I mean, it can be something as simple as somebody, you know, just mentioning something. We were out riding bikes a couple summers ago.
Okay.
And we stopped at a little bar, a little outdoor
This is
bar.
bicycles, you're right.
Yeah.
All right, okay.
Yeah, bicycles. That's my
Okay.
thing. I ride
Cool.
fixies for some reason.
Okay.
But we stopped at a bar, and I ordered a round of Patron.
Mm-hmm.
I said Patron, and then somebody was like, "Yeah, Pat Ryan for everybody," and I was like, "Patrick Ronald," and everybody started laughing like Patrick Ronald Patron. Somebody was like, "You should write a song about that," and I did. I went home and wrote a song.
It's on the latest album.
It's on the latest album, Patrick Ronald, and that came from just riding bikes, stopping at a bar. You know, I have a recording studio at home, so whenever it hits me, I just, you know.
You built your own recording studio in your home. Is
Yeah.
that right, or is that a bit of hype? I mean, you
it's
kind of
not-
guided it. You sort of said, "I want the recording deck here," or you was actually there with the screwdrivers, with the tools, cutting and.
Yeah, I did everything myself. I mean, it's not an elaborate setup. You know, we can make a studio right here. You know, if it came down to it. So it's not a super elaborate, setup. But that's all. I mean, it's something I've been working on over the years.
Is that kind of handicraft, the DIY side of you? Is that something which you like
Definitely.
to flex when you can?
Yeah, definitely. I'm into creating, you know, everything from little one-off furniture pieces to.
You make furniture as well, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
What
all
was the
of that.
last piece of furniture you made, Dwele?
The last piece of furniture I made. Let me
Was
see.
it a chair?
It was not a chair.
Good.
The very last piece of furniture. I wouldn't trust a chair. I
No,
wouldn't.
well, I was
going to
say, you know,
Nah.
you need to trust the chair.
But it was like a little table. You know, like the dinner tables.
Yeah.
So I took two records,
Okay.
a 12-inch and then a 45.
Okay.
I kind of layered them on top of each other, and they sit. They're like, you know, it's a wood structure
Yeah.
with the actual vinyl on top, and it's a place for your plate and your glass, your drink. It's simple, but it's not simple because there's two different structures, and those have to be supported too. And then, you know, it's a cross support, and it's a cross support there, so it looks more intricate than it actually is. But
So when you're not writing music and touring, you're sort of doing this kind of craft thing.
I'm
You're
doing a
sort
little bit of
creating
everything. You know, if it hits me, like one day it hit me, I picked up a record. I said, "Yo, I can make this into a table," and I did it. Yeah, I watch TV, I eat on the records. I use it every day.
You eat off the record. Well,
Yeah,
you love music that much.
I eat off music. When did I buy these harmonicas? I like being in the harmony. I'm not a guy that can get up and shed on a guitar.
Right.
The hook is playing and everything. I'm losing my power. Once people know that I'm known for the pickup line, and they're like, "Oh, okay, well, let's hear one."